Republicans have weighed in on who they believe should be the next Speaker of the House. And we have heard from not only politicians, but also political pundits on organizations like Fox News. And their suggestions are just as bad as you would expect them to be. Now, let's start off with Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz has an interesting idea as to who should be the next Speaker. He says the following: I think the next Speaker should be Mark Levin. If you don't know who that is, he's actually a talk show host. Let's show you a picture of him. And he has absolutely no interest in being Speaker of the House. He says, thank you, Ted, but I'll have to pass.
Yeah, no, that's only partly true. So he says he'll pass because there's no realistic chance. He's trying to say like, oh, well, I mean, obviously you guys want me, but I'm going to pass because my radio show is more important. His radio show is listened to by about 4.5 people. If he thought it was real, he would take it immediately. But to me, that's not the interesting part, this random tiny caveman in a broadcasting out of the radio. No, it's Ted Cruz's transparent attempt to suck up to the conservative media.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so sad. This Ted Cruz, he goes around pretending to be a strong leader, but at every opportunity, he's up Trump's ass. Now he's up Mark Levin's ass. I mean, my God, you want to talk about a tiny little guy that he found, and he's like, oh, Mark, I know you're talk shows on AM radio. I love you, Mark. I think you should be Speaker of the House. That's what I think. It's so obvious a pander. It's not just that it's disgusting, it's sad, it's pathetic.
Wait, you said AM radio.
Yeah.
What is that?
Good question.
Yeah.
I bet you, by the way, a lot of our audience is wondering that. Like, do you guys even know what AM radio is? Okay, that's what this Mark Levin guy is on.
Yes, exactly. Now, the people of Fox News have also weighed in on this. Let's take a quick look at what Steve Doocy has to say.
Nothing's going to happen for the Republican Party of the House if they cannot compromise on some level.
That's right. Well,
I mean, we don't get anything done. Does anyone want to have a caretaker for 16 more months, get nothing done?
Well, maybe they could actually get a lot. If it were somebody like Newt Gingrich, I mean, he would be great, a great counterbalance to the Iran deal. He knows all about the debt limit, closed down the government once upon a time. So there are a lot of people who are thinking, maybe that makes sense.
Here's why it makes sense. Because Newt Gingrich is back in the fold for Fox News.
Yes.
So all the Fox News guys are pushing Newt Gingrich. Because Roger Ailes is no dummy. He's like, look, man, the more of my guys that are in power or have the appearance of power, the stronger and more powerful we are at Fox News. So I'll get this thing rolling. And look, if you ever want to know what Roger Ailes, the guy who runs Fox News, is thinking, turn on Fox and Friends and turn on Sean Hannity. Because those are the two biggest puppets, Steve Doocy and Sean Hannity, for Roger Ailes. Roger Ailes writes a memo, and they're like, yes, sir, absolutely, sir, Newt Gingrich, sir. It was great, sir, right? So, and Doocy I love the point that he made. He's like, oh, Newt Gingrich shut down the government before. Obviously, we're not going to do anything. The only thing we want anybody to do is shut down the government. We don't want to actually govern. We don't want to pay our debts. We don't want to do anything that an adult would do, someone who's responsible would do. Let's bring in Newt Gingrich to shut it down again. Fox News will be more powerful. The government will do nothing. That's a huge win for Fox News.
It's incredible that that's something that they're proud of, right? So you mentioned Hannity, and you're absolutely right, because Hannity also endorsed Newt Gingrich. Take a look.
Charles, considering me somebody who likes to think out of the box, I think the most success that Republicans had in the House was under Newt Gingrich. Bring him back. Thoughts?
Well, you know, that's actually an idea has been floated already today.
Yeah, by Fox News. On Fox and Friends.
Did Hannity just say that we need someone to think outside the box?
Yeah.
And Gingrich is that person?
Yeah, ooh, yeah, that's really, boy, that is quite outside the box. A guy who was already Speaker of the House for the Republicans. That is radical thinking.
Okay, so if you think all of that was bad, you haven't heard anything yet. Now, Tom Cotton also weighed in on this, and he says, look, these are trying times for our nation. It's important to have a steady hand on the helm during times like this. I think experience really counts in a matter like this. I think House leadership experience really matters. Okay, all right, good points. And then he follows it with this. And as you know, the Speaker doesn't have to be a member of the House, so therefore Vice President Cheney for Speaker. What?
But by the way, man, don't count him out. Okay, of all those guys, he has the best chance. I'll tell you, because this guy is a real-life Frank Underwood from House of Cards. Okay, don't let him back in, man. You let him back in the building at all of our peril. So Dick Cheney used to be in the House. Actually was, I believe, minority whip for a while, way earlier in his career before he became Secretary of Defense and then obviously eventually is Vice President. But you remember the trick that he pulled is a classic House of Cards trick to become Vice President. Bush, for those of you who don't remember, Bush appointed Dick Cheney to head his selection committee for the vice presidential pick before he had a VP back in 2000. And Dick Cheney picked himself. And Bush was like, you know what, Dick? That's a pretty good idea. I think it should be you. And remember, Dick Cheney, of course, he didn't say, hey, George, I looked at everybody. They all suck. I'm the best.
Yeah.
Oh, he's way too smart for that. And Bush is an idiot. So he's like, oh, well, you know, here are your choices. But I don't know, there's a problem with him. And, golly, gee, that guy's got a big problem. And then this is the upside. But on the other hand, these are the downsides. And then he asked for, and then Bush goes, hey, he just leads him into it. And then Bush goes, how about you, Dick? Right? And Dick said, oh, no, I couldn't. I couldn't, could I? And so he snuck in there, and then he was basically president for 6 years, Dick Cheney was, until Bush woke up in the 6th year like, Dick, I heard you were making all the policy. Right?
Oh my God.
So don't let him back in. Don't let him back in, man. That guy is as good as it gets in politics. So credit where credit is due.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that the smartest person in the Republican Party also happens to be the most evil person in the Republican Party.
Well, it's not a coincidence. And by the way, the two, I think, most effective, most powerful guys in the Republican Party for the last 30, 40 years have been Roger Ailes, who now runs Fox News, used to be a communications person for Richard Nixon back in the day, and then for the Republican Party, and Dick Cheney. So, and here we are again in the year 2015, and we're having a conversation about the Speaker of the House, the third most powerful person in Washington, arguably the second most powerful, and we're talking about who Roger Ailes might pick, and it might be Dick Cheney. So it never ends, man. You think they're gone? They're not gone. They're like Bob, right? They're always there. The only thing I'm surprised by is that one of these goofballs didn't pick somebody who I thought they were going to pick. Well, they're like, the person doesn't have to be in the House. So I nominate the ghost of Ronald Reagan.